Hello all, today I'm going to share with you 5 totally messed up stories which has screwed me over. And some of these stories are going to be relatable while others will offer you fresh perspective because all of these stories revolve around friend, family and betrayal. Okay, not betrayal, that was too dramatic, but friends, family and disappointment. The names of the stories are Fridge, Cat Shit Crazy, Chai, Her Life's Messed Up and Golgappa. But before I start, I would like to take this opportunity and say thank you. This is the last video of 2023 from this channel and I would like to thank you for your continued support. So let's start. So I recently met a friend of mine who visited India after a long time from US. We had our dinner and then we went out for a walk and we stopped at a grocery store to check out some stuff for him. And inside the grocery store, in the beverages section, there was the fridge. Now you would have seen such a fridge which has a transparent door through which you can see all the products inside. Now in that crowded fridge, the first thing that he noticed was, guess what? It could have been a cold drink, it could have been an energy drink, it could have been any of those so many juices, but no, it had to be. Now for those of you who don't know, that is a ready-to-drink milkshake. Of course, it is made out of dairy and it is also from that dairy brand whose name I can't take. In fact, we'll also beep out the product's name. His first reaction was that I used to love that drink as a kid, which is okay. But the next couple of conversations that we exchanged was where the messed upness began. He said, quickly tell me something which is as good as this. And I was taken aback at that moment. In a subdued way, I said, hey, you can pick any of those juices. They are all good to have. And his next reaction was, bleh. It's not as good, I'll have this. I didn't react much at that moment, but later on I was thinking about this whole situation, like what was that? He made it sound like that in that moment it was my responsibility to provide him with a vegan alternative which was up to his standards of taste. I was like, why am I responsible for that? Why am I feeling guilty for that moment? He is someone who's aware that I'm a vegan. We are aware of each other's life's development. And I'm pretty sure that he knows the consequences of dairy industry. And then I had to calm myself down by reminding me that I can only provide information, logic, data, and evidence wherever applicable, but I cannot make the person eat or not to eat something. At least not as of today without any legal power behind me. So moving on to the next story, and it's called Cat Shit Crazy. So I recently visited another city and I stayed there at a friend's place for a couple of days. Now generally I am very cautious of whose place I'm staying at, but in this case I was decently confident that things will go fine because this person is a vegetarian and more importantly they understand veganism. They keep sharing stories about veganism, so I thought that at the very least they will understand what my priorities would be as a guest. The first red flag was that he was not a vegetarian anymore, as there were eggs at his place at the kitchen platform right in the open. And that was really surprising because this person has actually shared our egg reel which has garnered over 2.5 million views on Instagram. There was another issue there that this person was babysitting his neighbor's cat. Note that I do not dislike cats, but I'm skeptical of sharing living space with someone I've just met. And I'm not being a speciesist here, so I would have reacted the same way had I known that I had to share a living space with a stranger who's a human. Maybe that is because of my introvertness, but I thought it's okay, I just have to spend a night and some part of the day with the cat, so probably I'll make friends with the cat, even though I have no idea about their gestures and behaviors, but I thought it's going to be a good experience. However, the next day is when the messed upness began, when my friend said that he is going out for 3 to 4 hours. I was like, okay, and who will be staying at home? He said, you will be staying. I said, of course I know that, but who else? Is the cat also going out with you? And he said, no, he'll stay here. I was like, wait a second, you're saying that now I'm supposed to babysit this cat? And his reaction was, no, you don't have to worry, like he will do his own stuff, you be on your own. You'll not be even aware that he's here. And I was like, dude, we are staying in a 1 BHK apartment and literally we are in the same living room. How do you expect me to not to notice him? And his next reaction is where things got very screwed up when he said, relax, you're a vegan, you should be fine. I was like, hey, I'm also a child rights activist, but that doesn't mean that I'll babysit your baby without prior alignment. I mean, what sort of logic is that? How can you expect me to babysit anyone, be it a human baby or be it a cat or a dog? How can you do this without checking up with me about my comfort if I have the mental and the physical bandwidth to manage that task? Anyway, I did babysit the cat for a couple of hours. The friend also came in earlier than the original estimate. So yeah, that was that. So the next story is called Chai. So this is about a relative who visited our place and stayed back for a day. And as most Indians, she also has the habit of consuming tea in the evening. I don't make very good tea and my partner was busy with a client call in the evening. So we decided that we'll order it from a nearby place called Chayos, which some of you would have heard of, which is a tea joint and they have a decent vegan option. And I decided that instead of getting it ordered online through some delivery app, I'll rather go and get it directly because sometimes it gets cold due to multiple deliveries. So I went to the store, I checked their menu which was on the board and I said, okay, I want 3 cups of almond tea there written. In the dining table while we were consuming it, I had my first sip and time stood still for me. I looked at my partner, she took her first sip and then looked straight into my eyes. Now once you're in a relationship for over 4 years, sometimes you can communicate without exchanging words. We immediately rushed to the kitchen and she asked me, do you also think this contains dairy? And I said, yes. It was a weird moment for us because we had already served the tea to the guest and we were wondering like how awkward this would be to ask her to not to drink it. Anyway, we thought at the very least we'll go and tell her that this is made out of dairy and depending on her reaction, we will react. Before we could say anything, the relative, she said that this tea tastes so good. And if this is the level of taste that vegan tea tastes nowadays, then you all have made a major stride forward because tea is the biggest blocker for most people. You guys are doing really great. And she started saying stuff like this. We were doing But after a certain point, even I started playing along and I said, yeah, nowadays we can veganize almost anything. And that's how the incident ended there. We didn't tell her the reality. Later on, we confronted the Chayo store and we came to know that the almond tea also contains dairy. So essentially they use powder and the almond tea contains almond powder, dairy powder and solid almond sprinkled from the top and hence the name almond tea. In the menu, once I go down the list, there was the vegan chai option as well. So the vegan chai was different from the almond chai and I made a mistake by not clarifying it. Even though I asked the person while buying that this has almond milk, right? And he said yes. But he didn't say the whole picture. And their manager also apologized on their behalf that the person was someone who has joined their team recently. But anyway, that's that. Do let me know what you think about this incident because this was a very weird incident in my opinion. Moving on to the next story, her life is messed up. This is less of a story and more of a character discussion because I'm 100% sure that you also have someone like this in your life. So this is a friend of ours who visited us recently and she is not a vegan yet, despite the fact that she is vocal about animal rights and she has also attended a couple of vegan potlucks. So she is aware of all the information out there. She has watched the documentaries. She follows Arvind, she follows our page and so on and so forth, but still is not a vegan. Last year when we asked her that why are you not a vegan, she said that I'm not in the right space of mind because I just came out of a toxic relationship, which is understandable. So we said, okay, take your time. This time when he asked her that why is she not a vegan yet, she said that she is in a difficult position in her life with regard to her career. She hasn't found the bandwidth to go vegan yet. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be dismissive of human problems, but I do think that as part of adulting, such things are going to be part and parcel of our life. Relationship problems, health problems, parental problems, finances, taxes, so on and so forth. This is going to be part of our life as part of growing up. But I don't think that any of this gives us the license to participate in animal exploitation. Moving on to the last story, and it's called Gappa. So Gappa, also known as Paani Puri, is a very popular Indian street food which most Indians like. For all our non-Indian viewers, this is how a Gappa looks like. Inside this, we sometimes put in mashed potato or sometimes we put in chana. It's called horse gram in English. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we add spicy flavored water into it so it tastes really good. These things are usually sold by small vendors, and to up their game to beat their competitors, they will innovate in different ways, come up with different strategies to beat their competitors. One of them being that some of these vendors offer multiple flavored spicy water. So first Golgappa they will give in this water, the next one in this, and so on and so forth. So we visited the place close to our house recently and we noticed that he had a packet of curd in his stall, and we were quite shocked to see that, and we asked him that are you going to sell some other stuff as well, like dahi puri, which is another type of street food made out of curd? And he said no, we use this curd to prepare that water. That is one of the flavors. It's called Rajwadi. And we asked him like why? And he was like, that is our number one seller here, this flavored water. And in this, we add curd to give it some thickness to it. And we were like completely shocked, heartbroken, because Pani Puri is one of the safest options to consume in India as street food. And somehow these people managed to add dairy product to that as well. We asked him that, is there anything else to which you add dairy? And he said no. Pani Puri is still a safe option to consume as Indian street food. But yeah, we can never be too sure, so it's always good to ask, especially if they are offering something fancy. So those are the 5 stories that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for being with me today, and thank you so much for supporting this channel. And if you have not subscribed, then please consider subscribing, and if you have not hit the bell notification icon, then please do that, as that really helps the channel. And until we meet again, this is Shivam signing out and wish you a very happy new year.